My abusive ex threatened every man who even looked at me. For 2 years after I left him, he acted like my freedom was an insult he needed to punish. And it kept happening until I started dating a professional MMA fighter who was tall enough to make my ex hesitate for the first time in his life. My name is Madison. I am 27 years old now, and I live in Austin, Texas. I work as a graphic designer. My life looks normal from the outside. I pay bills. I meet deadlines. I buy groceries. I go to the gym. I post pictures on social media sometimes. But for a long time, nothing about my life felt normal. I was with my ex, Derek, for 4 years. I left him 3 years ago. People like to say leaving is the hardest part, like once you walk out the door, you're free. That is not always how it works. Leaving Derek was not the finish line. It was the moment he changed the game. When we were together, he controlled me in the usual ways abusers do. He questioned me constantly. He accused me of cheating when I was simply tired. He watched my phone like it belonged to him. He picked fights over nothing and then made me apologize just to end the noise. He isolated me from friends slowly, one argument at a time. He made me feel like every choice I made was wrong unless he approved it. But after I moved out, he did not disappear. He became something else. He became the shadow behind my shoulder. He made sure I learned a new rule. If any man came near me, Derek would punish that man. He did not always say it directly. He did not have to. He showed it through actions. The first time it happened was the day after I moved out. I went to Target to buy things for my new place. Trash bags. Soap. A sponge. Basic stuff. I was walking through the cleaning aisle when a man around my age smiled at me. It was not flirting. It was not a conversation. It was just a normal human moment. I smiled back because I was trying to remember how to be normal. 2 hours later, Derek was pounding on the door of my new apartment. I froze so hard my body felt like stone. I had not told him my address. I still do not know how he found it. I did not open the door. I stood there holding my phone, shaking, trying to breathe quietly. Derek yelled through the door. He screamed that he saw me at Target. He screamed that a guy looked at me. He screamed that I was not allowed to move on. He screamed like he still owned me. I called the police. When the officers arrived, Derek changed instantly. His face softened. His voice got calm. He acted polite and confused. He said it was just emotions. He said we recently broke up. He said he only wanted to talk. The officers gave the usual advice. Stay away from each other. Do not contact each other. Move on. They did not arrest him. When they left, Derek stood outside my door for a long moment. Then he walked away slowly, like he wanted me to remember he could show up anytime. That was the first time. The second time happened at a coffee shop. I stopped in before work. The barista was friendly, maybe 19. He made small talk while he made my drink. He joked about the weather. That was it. I turned slightly while waiting and I saw Derek sitting in the corner. He was watching. He did not come over. He did not need to. His eyes did the work. Later that day, the barista walked out after his shift and found his tire slashed. All four. The barista thought it was random vandalism. I knew it was Derek. The third time was at my gym. A man asked if I was done with the machine. That was literally all he said. Derek followed him to the parking lot and got in his face. The man came back inside and complained. The gym checked the cameras. They banned Derek from the property. But bans do not stop a man who is obsessed with control. After that, Derek would wait outside sometimes. Or sit across the street. Or appear later, like a reminder. For 2 years, that was my life. I could not talk to men. I could not laugh at a joke without scanning the room. I could not smile at a stranger without worrying it would become a punishment for somebody else. My world got smaller and smaller. I stopped going out at night. I stopped dating completely. I stopped going to places Derek knew I liked. I stopped posting locations online. I changed routines. I held my keys like a weapon when I walked to my car. I parked under lights. I checked my mirrors constantly. I was 25 and living like I was on parole. People around me told me to move. My mom begged me to come back to Ohio. Friends said a fresh city would fix it. They meant well. But I had built my life in Austin. I had a job I worked hard for. I had a routine. I had pride in the life I was trying to build. And part of me hated the idea that I should be the one to run. So I stayed. I did try to get legal help. I tried to get a restraining order. But Derek was careful. He rarely did something directly to me that was easy to prove. He did just enough to scare me and scare the people around me, but not enough to leave clean evidence. By the time police arrived, he looked calm. He always had a story. He always had a mask. He built control like a trap made of thin wires. Each wire alone looked harmless. Together, they held me in place. Then I met Cameron. It happened on a Wednesday afternoon. I was stressed and rushing because of a deadline. My laptop died in the middle of a project. Not slow. Not warning signs. Just dead. Black screen. No response. I panicked. I grabbed the laptop and ran to an electronics repair shop near my office. I probably looked like I was about to cry. Cameron was behind the counter. The first thing I noticed was his size. I am 5'4". He was so tall I had to tilt my head back to look at him. He was big in the shoulders too, not just tall. His hands looked like they could crush a soda can without effort. He had a scar through an eyebrow and a nose that looked like it had been broken before. For half a second, my body tensed, the way it does around danger. Then Cameron spoke, and his voice was calm and gentle. He told me it was okay. He said we would figure it out. He asked to see the laptop. I explained the deadline and my panic. He listened like it mattered. He did not treat me like I was being dramatic. He checked the laptop, asked a few questions, and said he could fix it in about an hour. He pointed to a cafe next door and told me to go get coffee and breathe. He said he had me. An hour later, my laptop worked again. Cameron explained what he replaced. Then he refused to charge me labor. He said I should just pay for the part. I took the laptop and thanked him, trying not to linger. I walked out of the shop and made it half a block before my stomach dropped. Across the street, Derek was leaning against a building, watching me. We locked eyes. He smiled, that cold little smile that says I see you and you cannot escape me. My body went tight. I walked faster. I forced myself to keep moving like I was normal. That night, on my way home, I drove past the repair shop. I do not know why. Maybe guilt. Maybe fear. Maybe I needed to check if Derek showed up and caused trouble. The shop lights were still on. I could see Cameron working behind the counter. Nothing seemed wrong. Cameron locked up later, got into a big pickup truck, and drove away like it was a normal day. I barely slept. The next day I walked past the shop at lunch. Cameron saw me through the window and waved. I waved back and kept walking. 3 days passed. Nothing happened. No banging on my door. No punishment. No threats. It felt wrong in a strange way, because I was used to fear following any moment of normal life. That weekend I went to a farmer's market downtown. I used to love it before Derek. Then it became one of the places he would show up to remind me I was being watched. I stopped going for a long time. But that morning I felt tired of hiding. Not brave, just tired. So I went. I was looking at tomatoes when I heard a familiar voice behind me. Cameron. He was in shorts and a tank top, carrying a shopping bag. He smiled like he was actually happy to see me. We talked casually like normal people. He told me he came every Saturday because a vendor made amazing breakfast burritos. He insisted on buying me one. He joked it was an apology for overcharging me, which was funny because he undercharged me. We sat under a tree and ate. And for the first time in a long time I relaxed. Cameron told me about himself. He grew up in Minnesota. He moved to Austin 5 years earlier. He was good with tech, but he needed a physical outlet too. I asked what he trained for. He said MMA. Mixed martial arts. He told me he fought professionally or semi-professionally. He had 12 fights. He won 9. I felt a twist in my stomach when I heard the word fighter. Fighting sounded violent. Derek already made my life feel dangerous. The last thing I wanted was more danger. But Cameron did not feel dangerous in the way Derek did. Derek was control. Derek was pressure. Derek was rage behind a smile. Cameron felt calm. Steady. Present. Cameron said something that stuck in my head. He said fighting taught him discipline and control. He said when you truly know how to hurt someone, you become more careful about not hurting anyone for no reason. We talked for 2 hours. When we stood to leave, Cameron asked for my number. I hesitated. Every instinct screamed risk. Derek was already watching me. Dating again might bring punishment. But I was tired of letting Derek control my life from a distance. So I gave Cameron my number. That night Cameron texted me and asked if I wanted to get dinner. I stared at my phone for a long time before answering, because I knew I needed to tell him the truth. So I did. I told him about Derek. I told him about the abuse. I told him about the stalking after I left. I told him about the way Derek threatened and punished men around me. I told him I stopped dating for 2 years because I did not want anyone else to get hurt just for being near me. I expected Cameron to back away. Most people would. Instead, Cameron said he was sorry I went through that. Then he said he was not afraid of my ex. He said he still wanted to take me to dinner. That confidence made my eyes sting. Not because it was romantic in a movie way. Because it was rare. Because I was used to men leaving the moment my life came with complications. So I said yes. We went to dinner. I was nervous the whole time. Every time the door opened, my body jumped. I kept scanning faces, expecting Derek to appear. He did not. Cameron talked about training and an upcoming fight in Austin. He explained his strengths and weaknesses like he was talking about a normal hobby, not something that could break bones. After dinner, he walked me to my car and asked if we could do it again. I said yes, and I meant it. We started seeing each other regularly. Cameron did not rush me. He did not push for physical stuff. He was patient. He was consistent. He asked how I felt, and he listened. Most importantly, I started feeling safe around him. And Derek still did not show up. 3 weeks into dating, Cameron invited me to his fight. I brought my best friend Jessica. She watched Derek destroy my life in real time. She saw my fear. She saw my shaking hands. She saw me become smaller. Jessica was nervous about me dating again at all, and she was definitely nervous about me dating a fighter. But when we met Cameron's team, Jessica relaxed a little. They were loud and supportive and friendly. They treated Cameron with respect, not fear. They treated me like I belonged. The fight was intense. The sounds shocked me. The impact. The speed. But Cameron stayed focused and controlled. He won by knockout in the second round. Backstage, His face was bruised and his hands were wrapped, but when he saw me his expression softened. He looked genuinely happy I came. Later, Cameron kissed me in a way that felt like a decision. Like he was saying I choose you. And that word girlfriend showed up in conversation that night, and my stomach flipped because it felt like stepping into a life I thought I lost. After the celebration, Cameron and I sat in his truck in the parking lot. He told me he needed to tell me something. My mind went straight to fear. I thought he was about to say this is too much, I cannot do this, I am done. Instead, Cameron told me Derek came to see him. 2 weeks earlier, Derek showed up at the repair shop when Cameron was alone. Derek tried to intimidate him. He told Cameron to stay away from me. He threatened him. My stomach dropped. My hands shook. I apologized automatically, like it was my job to fix everything Derek broke. Cameron squeezed my hand and told me to stop. He said none of this was my fault. Cameron said he let Derek talk. Then Cameron told Derek the truth. He told Derek that he fought for a living. He told Derek that he trained for years. He told Derek that if Derek ever came near me again, if Derek ever even sent a message or drove by my place, there would be consequences. Cameron did not say it like a hero. He said it like a boundary. Derek left. And after that, Derek stopped showing up. For the first time in over 2 years, the fear started to loosen its grip. But the relief came with complicated feelings too. Part of me was grateful. Part of me was angry that Derek only backed off when he met a stronger threat. Part of me felt guilty that another man had to face Derek at all. Cameron listened when I said that. He did not get defensive. He explained the difference. He said he was not controlling me. He was not shrinking my world. He was not deciding who I could speak to. He was simply making sure Derek could not keep stalking and terrorizing me. That difference mattered. 4 months later, Cameron and I moved in together. Cameron had been living in a small place above the shop. I was still in my apartment full of bad memories. We wanted a fresh start. We found a small house in a quiet neighborhood. Our landlord lived nearby and joked it was nice to have a big man on the street. We moved in on a Saturday. Jessica helped. Cameron's training partners helped too. We ate pizza on the floor the first night because we had no furniture yet. Cameron put his arm around me and told me this house was ours. Our space. Our life. And I believed him. But healing is not clean. Even though Derek stopped showing up, my body did not stop being afraid right away. When you live on alert for years, your nervous system does not just switch off because life is calmer now. We had our first real argument a few months in. It was small. Cameron came home late and did not answer his phone. My brain went straight to panic. My body reacted like danger was happening. When he walked in, I snapped at him. Cameron did not yell back. He did not punish me. He did not twist it into a war. He apologized. Simple and clean. He said he should have called. That moment broke something open inside me. I started crying in the kitchen, because I forgot arguments could end without emotional torture. Cameron encouraged me to go back to therapy. I found a therapist who specialized in trauma. Dr. Lisa Chen. Therapy helped slowly. It helped me name what happened. It helped me understand that Derek trained my body to live like danger was always one step away. Even when Derek was gone, my body still remembered. One night, at a crowded restaurant, I had a panic attack. Too much noise. Too many voices. Too many men nearby. My chest tightened, my hands went cold, and suddenly I could not breathe properly. I hid in the bathroom stall trying to calm down. Jessica found me and sat on the floor with me, repeating the same words. You are safe. Cameron came too. He did not ask for explanations. He just took me home. Later I apologized, saying I ruined the night. Cameron told me I ruined nothing. He reminded me healing is not a straight line. Then a strange moment happened that proved how much power had shifted. I saw Derek again in a grocery store. He was in the frozen aisle. My body froze. We looked at each other. And then Derek walked away. He avoided me. I sat in my car afterward laughing from shock. He was not stalking me. He was running from the fact that I was not alone anymore. A few days after that, I got a message on Facebook from a woman named Amber. She said she was dating Derek and something felt wrong. She asked if we could talk. My blood went cold. He had moved on to a new target. Cameron told me to meet her and tell her the truth, because that warning could save her years. So I met Amber at a coffee shop. She was 23 and already doubting herself. She told me Derek said I was crazy, that I cheated, that I made up lies to ruin him. I told her the truth. The control. The tracking. The threats. The way he isolated me. The way he punished men around me after I left. Amber whispered that Derek already checked her phone and blamed it on trust issues caused by me. I told her she could not heal him. It would get worse. Amber left in tears. 2 days later, she texted me that she broke up with him. She said he screamed and punched walls, but she got out. I cried when I read it, because one woman got out sooner than I did. Then Amber called in a panic. Derek was sitting outside her apartment watching her window. Police said unless he did something direct, there was little they could do. I grabbed my keys. Cameron came with me. We drove to Amber's place and saw Derek's car parked across the street. Cameron parked behind him, walked to his window, and spoke to him. I could not hear the words, but I saw Derek's face change. Anger first, then tension, then fear. Derek drove away. Cameron came back and told me he reminded Derek of their previous conversation and added something else. Cameron said he researched Derek after the shop visit. He found where Derek worked. He learned that his company cared about image and rules. Cameron told Derek that if he kept stalking women, that behavior would not stay private. That night, for the first time, I understood something important. Cameron was not just strong. He was smart. He believed in consequences, not chaos. After that, life kept moving forward. Cameron trained. I worked. We cooked dinner. We built routines. We laughed more. I started going places without mapping every exit. Then Cameron got the biggest fight of his career. A regional title fight. The night before the fight, he admitted he was nervous. He admitted the opponent was dangerous. He admitted losing would hurt. I held his hands and told him something I learned the hard way. You can be scared and still do it anyway. That is courage. The fight was brutal. 5 rounds. Cameron took hard hits. His face swelled. His nose bled. But he kept moving like his body knew how to survive pain the way my mind learned how to survive fear. Near the end, Cameron landed a clean combination that dropped the other guy. The referee stopped it. Cameron won. Backstage, he hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. He said we did it. I told him he did it. He shook his head and said we did, because my peace helped him fight with a clear mind. A few weeks later, Cameron got offered a contract with a bigger promotion. Better money. Bigger stages. More pressure. He asked what I thought. That question meant everything, because it made me feel like a partner, not a passenger in his life. I told him to take it. It was his dream. So we built a plan together. I shifted my work remote when I could. I traveled with him sometimes. I learned what fight life looks like. Training. Weight cuts. Hotel rooms. Loud arenas. Quiet mornings after hard nights. Cameron won some fights. He lost one in Las Vegas, and the loss hit him hard. In the hotel room afterward, he sat on the bed like he was carrying a heavy stone inside. I told him I did not need a champion. I needed him alive. I needed him safe. I needed him to come home. He looked at me like those words mattered more than any belt. Then the story changed from my personal survival to something bigger. I got another message. This time it was from a man named Tyler. He said he was a private investigator. He said he was hired by Derek's current girlfriend. Another woman. Her name was Rachel. Rachel hired a private investigator early, before Derek could trap her completely. Tyler asked if I would give a statement about my experience. I said yes. Amber said yes too. Then Tyler called again and said they found more women. 5 others. Same pattern. Control. Stalking. Threats. Isolation. When Tyler said they were building a pattern case, something inside me shifted. For years, I felt like Derek was untouchable because he always stayed in the gray zone. But patterns are evidence. Patterns are proof. Proof creates consequences. Tyler asked if I would testify if it went to court. I looked at Cameron across our kitchen. He was cooking like he belonged in my life, like he always belonged. I thought about all the years Derek stole from me. Then I thought about the women he would steal from next. I told Tyler yes. A few weeks later, Tyler called with news. A restraining order was served. The district attorney was considering charges connected to stalking and harassment. It was not a guarantee yet, but it was real movement. When I told Amber, she cried and said it feels like it is really ending. That night Cameron and I celebrated in the most boring way possible. We sat on the couch, watched a movie, and felt safe. Boring never felt so beautiful. The prosecutor on the case was a woman named Victoria. She had handled many domestic violence cases. She told me something I will never forget. Men like him only keep power when women are isolated. When women stand together, he has nothing. Around the same time, Cameron proposed. It was not in a fancy restaurant or a big crowd. It was in a quiet moment, when he realized there is no perfect time, only a decision. He asked me to marry him, and I cried so hard I could barely speak. I just nodded and held out my hand. After he put the ring on my finger, we held each other and shook with relief and happiness. The next night, Cameron won a fight and mentioned his fiancée to the crowd. It was cheesy and perfect, and I loved him more for it. We planned a small wedding. Close friends. Close family. No giant performance. Just warmth. Cameron cared about details in a way that made me laugh. He had opinions about cake flavors like he was breaking down fight strategy. His family flew in. His mom hugged me like I was already family. She told me Cameron lost his dad when he was 17. A drunk driver. Fighting became his outlet for anger. Later I asked Cameron about his dad, and I saw sadness in his eyes. He told me his dad always said use your size for good. Stand up for people who cannot stand up for themselves. Cameron said standing up to Derek felt like honoring that advice. As the wedding got closer, I had a moment that brought the whole story full circle. I went to Target. The same Target where this nightmare started after I left Derek. I walked through the cleaning aisle. A man smiled at me like a normal person. And I smiled back. Nothing happened. No pounding on my door later. No threats. No punishment. Just a normal moment that stayed normal. I sat in my car afterward and breathed deeply, like my lungs finally understood what freedom was. And here is the truth that matters most to me now. Derek did not lose because a bigger man scared him. Yes, Cameron made him back off in the beginning. That helped me breathe. That gave me space. But Derek truly started losing when women compared notes. When women told the truth. When women refused to stay quiet. When there was a pattern strong enough that even Derek could not talk his way out of it. That is what ended the nightmare. Not one man. Not one threat. A wall of truth built by many people who refused to be isolated. Now, I still have scars inside. I still have days where my body flinches at shadows. I still have moments where I wonder if peace can last. But I have a life again. A real life. A life where love does not control me. Love protects me. Love gives me space to grow. A life where I can smile at a stranger in Target and nothing bad happens afterward. A life that belongs to me.